Hello everyone, this is Jagrati Soni. I am back with my new video which is The American Scholar. This is a book and a very well-known essay by Ralph Waldo Emerson, a very well-known personality of English literature. So we will cover the following points, first of all Ralph Waldo Emerson, about who is he actually, and his famous quotes, and summary and analysis, and then conclusion. So let's begin. This is Ralph Waldo Emerson. So he was born on May 25th, 1803 in Boston, Massachusetts, US, and died on April 27, 1882 in Concord, Massachusetts, US. Alma mater was Harvard Divinity School. Era was 19th century philosophy and region was American philosophy. His school was Transcendentalism Institutions, Harvard College basically, and main interests were individualism, nature, divinity, and cultural criticism. His notable ideas are self-reliance, transparent eyeball, and double consciousness. So here are some quotes by him. The only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be. This is a very well-known quote by him. And another is, do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. He wants to say that we should make our own path by our own self, not to follow the other's path. So here is another slide made by me, which is about summary and analysis of American Scholar. This is a very important topic of MA English literature. So you can get benefited by seeing all these slides and explanation as well, because analysis of American Scholar is a very frequent question asked in the exams. So here we will study para wise, paragraph first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. And I have covered some points in this, means total there are 10 points, and paragraph wise it will be some lengthy, like in paragraph first to 7 there are 2 points basically, theme, and the next we will cover on the next slides. So first is theme. Emerson opens The American Scholar with greetings to the college president and members of the Phi Beta Kappa Society of Harvard College, pointing out the differences between these gatherings and the athletic and dramatic contests of ancient Greece, the poetry contest of the Middle Ages, and the scientific academies of the 19th century Europe. He voices a theme that draws the entire essay together. Emerson announces his theme as the American Scholar, not particular individual but an abstract ideal. And the next slide is about main thinking. So see, according to an ancient fable, there was once only one man, who then was divided into many men so that society could work more efficiently. Ideally, society labors together, each person doing his or her task so that it can function properly. However, society has now subdivided it to so great an extent that it no longer serves the good of its citizens, and the scholar, being a part of society, has degenerated also. Formerly a man thinking, the scholar is now a mere thinker, a problem that Emerson hopes to correct successfully by refamiliarizing his audience with how the true scholar is educated and what the duties of his scholar are. So this is all mentioned in paragraph 1 to 7 actually, and this is analysis also and one kind of summary you can say. So next paragraph is we will cover, which will be paragraph 8 to 9. So first is the influence of nature. Emerson envisions nature as a teacher that instructs individuals who observe the natural world to see eventually how similar their minds and nature are. The first similarity he discusses concerns the notion of circular power, a theme familiar to readers, to the nature of essay found in nature and in the scholar's spirit. both nature and the scholar's spirit, whose beginning, whose ending he never can find. So entire, so boundless, are eternal. So this is the influence of nature in these paragraphs he has explained, and in next slide we will cover the summary portion. Order is another similarity between the scholar and the nature. At first, the mind views a chaotic and infinite reality of individual facts, but then it begins to classify these facts into categories to make comparisons and distinctions. A person discovers nature's laws and can understand them because they are similar to the operations of the intellect. Eventually, we realize that nature and the soul, both proceeding from what Emerson terms one root, are parallel structures that mirror each other. Emerson's term for parallel may be misleading. He says that nature is the opposite of the soul. So, a greater knowledge of nature results in a greater understanding of the self, and vice versa. The maxims know thyself and study nature are equivalent. They are two ways of saying the same thing. And the next paragraph is paragraph 10 to 20. This is about books and the past. So, in the first three paragraphs of this section, he emphasizes that books contain the learning of the past. However, he also says that these books pose a great danger. While it is true that books transform mere facts, means short-lived actions, into vital truths, immortal thoughts, every book is inevitably a partial truth biased by society's standards when it was written. Each age must create its own books and find its own truths for itself. Following this call for each age's creating truth, Emerson dwells on other dangers in books. They are dangerous, he says, because they tempt the scholar away from original thought. Means, if we will study any of the books, so we will not go on our own thought, own processing. We will just consider others' thought as our thought. Excessive respect for the brilliance of the past thinkers can discourage us from exploring new ideas and seeking individualized truths. So this is books and the past, and next is creative imagination. So the worst example of slavish differences to past thinkers is a bookworm, a pedant who focuses all thought on trivial matters of scholarship and ignores large universal ideas. This type of a person becomes passive and uncreative and is the antithesis of Emerson's ideal of the creative imagination. Man hopes, genius creates. To create is a proof of divine presence. The non-creative bookworm is more spiritual, distanced from God and therefore from nature than is the thinker of original thoughts. But the genius too, if we can say, the genius too can suffer from the undue influence of books. Emerson's example of this kind of sufferers are English dramatic poets who he says have been Shakespeareized for 200 years rather than producing new original text and thoughts. They mimic Shakespeare's writing actually, if I say. So citing an Arabic proverb that says that one fig tree fertilizes another just like one author can inspire another. Emerson suggests that true scholars should resort to books only when they their own creative genius dries up or is blocked. The last of these three paragraphs of this section refer to the pleasures and benefits of reading, provided it is done correctly. So, all in all, in this paragraph, he is saying like this: you means this is basically for students, that we should not become bookworm. So here the next paragraph is paragraph 21 to 30. First is the influence of action. In this third section, Emerson comments on the scholar's need for action for physical labor. He rejects the notion that the scholar should not engage in practical action. Action, while secondary to thought, is still necessary. Action is with the scholar subordinate, but it is essential. Furthermore, not to act, declining to put principle into practice, is cowardly. The transcendental concept of the world as an expression of ourselves makes action the natural duty of thinking person. Emerson observes the difference between recent actions and past actions over time. He says a person's past deeds are transformed into thought, but recent actions are too entangled with present feelings to undergo this transformation. He compares the recent act to the insect larva, which eventually metamorphoses into a butterfly, symbolic of action becoming thought. So this is the influence of action, and the next slide is about active person. An active person has a richer existence than a scholar who merely undergoes a second-hand existence through the words and thoughts of others. The ideal life has undulation, a rhythm that balances or alternates thought and action, labor and contemplation. A great soul will be strong to live as well as strong to think. This circle creates a person's character that is far superior to the fame or the honor too easily expected by a mere display of higher learning. So the next slide is about paragraph 31 to 45, the scholar's duty. First, after Emerson has discussed how nature, books and action educate the scholar, he now addresses the scholar's obligations to society. First, he considers these obligations in general, abstract terms. Then he relates them to the particular situation of American scholar. The scholar's first and most important duty is to develop unflinching self-trust and a mind that will be a repository of wisdom for other people. This is a difficult task, Emerson says, because the scholar must endure poverty, hardship, tedium, solitude, and the other privations while following the path of knowledge. Self-sacrificing is often called for, as demonstrated in Emerson's examples of two astronomers who spent many hours in tedious and solitary observation of space in order to make discoveries that benefited mankind. Many readers will wonder just how satisfying the reward really is when Emerson acknowledges that the scholar is to find consolation in exercising the highest function of human nature. Next is bravery. In the same paragraph, means paragraph 31 to 45, bravery is also contained in that portion. So here it is. Although he appears to lead a reclusive and benign life, the scholar must be brave because he deals in ideas, a dangerous currency. Self-trust is a source of courage and can be traced to the transcendental conviction that the true thinker sees all thought as one. Universal truth is present in all people, although not all people are aware of it. Instead of thinking individually, we live vicariously through our heroes. We seek self-worth through others when we should search for it in ourselves. The noblest ambition is to improve human nature by fulfilling our individual natures. Emerson concludes the essay by observing that different ages in Western civilization, which he terms the classic, the romantic, and the reflective periods, have been characterized by different dominant ideas, and acknowledges that he has neglected speaking about the importance of differences between ages while speaking perhaps too fervently about the transcendental unity of all human thought. So this is how we can conclude all the slides. Like in his long concluding paragraph, Emerson dwells on the romantic ideal of the individual, this fundamentally American concept, which he develops at much greater length in his essay Self-Reliance, is America's major contribution to the world of idea. The scholar must be independent, courageous, and original. In thinking and acting, the scholar must demonstrate that America is not the timid society it is assumed to be. We must refuse to be mere purveyors of the past wisdom. This confidence is in the unsearched might of men, belongs by all motivates, by all prophecy, by all preparation to the American scholar who will create a native, truly American culture. So thank you for now and bye to all.